All right, so I'll admit that last video needs a little bit of a follow-up. I'm gonna do that right now. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Brad. I make videos with tips and motivation on how to get out of debt, how to stay positive, and achieve financial freedom. Just a couple days ago, I posted a video about how I don't care for my 403b plan and for traditional 401k plans. And I got a lot of mixed feedback, a lot of good feedback and a lot of bad feedback. But I do think that instead of going through all the comments and trying to explain myself, I want to go back and I want to talk about a couple things and clear some things up. First, I didn't realize how triggered people would get by me saying this. And there was a lot of people that defended the 401k plan. And I think there was a couple people that just missed my point, okay? And the point was I wanted to get people to look at their fees and to look at their plans. I felt like so many of us were just going through blindly and didn't have a full understanding of what was going on. And that's really the point that I wanted to make, that if you don't pay attention, that if you don't take control of your own situation, that you might get yourself in trouble. In no way, shape, or form did I want to tell people, or did I tell people, that they should not contribute to these plans whatsoever. I just talked about my own personal situation, and it turns out that I might not have been 100% correct with my own. Guys, I am not perfect, and I have no problem coming on here and explaining or even changing my philosophies. I've done so over the course of time, and I thank you guys so much for that because, you know, even in a short time from a couple days ago, my perspective has changed a little bit. Not to the point where I necessarily am going to jump back into my 403b plan, but I did realize that there was some things that needed to be discussed. First, to address the people that said that they were going to look and, check into their plans. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. And, there were a lot of people that were so happy with their plans and they had great expense ratios and they had low management fees. That's great too. I was super happy to hear that. I wasn't trying to say that everyone should just be getting rid of it. I just wanted people to look. I also was not clear the difference between expense ratios and management fees and all the other fees that I was talking about. It's not just as simple as what your expense ratio is. I was trying to get across the fact that there are other hidden fees that we might not see on a regular basis, or we may not see unless we really look through it with a fine-tooth comb. And the last thing that I might not have been 100% clear with when knowing that I was pretty much addressing a beginner type community. There are many different types of retirement plans, guys, and I tried to say at the end of the video that I didn't want to, blanket the Roth 401k versus the traditional 401k and the traditional IRA. There are so many different retirement plans. And I did say in the video that I understand that the 401k is just a vehicle. I was more looking at the motor, the funds inside of that vehicle that I was unhappy with. And it was great because one of my subscribers reached out to me and they heard me say that I had a Voya plan. And they heard me say that, I was trying to get the lowest expense ratio possible and I just wasn't finding it. And they asked to be unnamed, but I want to thank you. You know who you are. And came to me and said, Brad, I work for Voya. And the plan that you have is not the lowest expense ratio for what you might need. He didn't tell me what to do. He just gave me a couple other ones to look at. And it turns out he might have saved me a ton of money over the course of my retirement career and maybe even got me to consider jumping back into my 403b plan. If we look at the fund that I had before I made that video, my total fees came out to 2.71. And that's kind of the basis of where I made all my argument for. I knew that that was just not great. And I see in the comments from that last video that a lot of people have low expense ratio 401ks. And then he said, Brad, check out this fund. Now, it's not a Voya fund, it's a Fidelity fund, but Voya offers it. And when I looked at the expense ratios, my mind was freaking blown. This Fidelity fund covers the course of the S&P 500. It's an index fund, very similar to the Vanguard funds that I have, and its expense ratio was 0.1. And it only had a management fee of 0.05 and a miscellaneous fee of 0.05. That means that with this fund, I was able to change my expense ratio from 2.71 down to just 0.2 if I wanted to go that route. And that is an enormous amount of savings. And that makes the tax benefit really a good thing. With this new information, guys, I learned something. Thank you guys so much for reaching out and helping me. Guys, I'm not a professional, and I can take my lumps. When I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. And I wasn't specifically wrong in this case, but I definitely might have got into a topic that I don't know enough to be posting on the internet, which is fine. I'm going to leave it up as a learning experience. You could check that video out. But moving forward, I learned a very valuable lesson that, I have to be very clear and that I have to be able to take criticism when I get it. And in this case, that criticism might have saved me thousands and thousands of dollars. So I'm almost kind of glad I got on. I asked for you guys to prove me wrong, please. And a couple people did. So until I see you on the next one, guys, stay positive, work really, really hard, be kind to others. I hope you have yourself an amazing day and a better tomorrow.